Okay, people, I need everyone focused. This is a big scene, and we've only got one shot at it. Roll cameras.
Vincent!
What?
Okay, enough with the megaphone. What's going on?
Yeah, and why are you dressed like this?
Well, Victoria, Lexi, I think it's pretty obvious. I'm directing.
You're directing the show, Passport to Explore?
Naturally.
Uh-huh.
And why not? I did such a great job in front of the camera in the Florida episodes, I wondered how great would I be behind it?
Well, you seem quite confident, Vincent.
Oh, it's a fine line to arrogance.
Just wait until I win the Sundance Film Festival.
Well, I hope you remember to cast me in your award-winning film.
I'll think about it.
Yes, Vincent, you do that. But now can we focus on Passport to Explore? Because this week we are in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah.
Also known as the Crossroads of the West, there's plenty to see and do here any time of year.
But winter is an SLC specialty.
So, let's get started. Lights, camera,
Action!
What a better way to start our Salt Lake City adventure than right in the middle of it all.
Welcome to Temple Square, a 10-acre complex located right in the heart of Salt Lake City and owned by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Temple Square attracts 5 million visitors a year, making it the most popular tourist attraction in all of Utah. But with numbers like that, it also means that the square brings in more visitors than the Grand Canyon and even Yellowstone National Park.
There are 2 visitor centers, 2 libraries, and 2 museums here on the grounds where you can learn about the LDS Church, its heritage, and its history.
But really the most impressive part about being here is seeing the Salt Lake Temple. I couldn't have designed a better set for my directorial debut.
Well, Vincent, do I sense a hint of humility?
Don't worry, I won't make a habit out of it.
Yeah.
While it wasn't the first ever built, the Salt Lake Temple is the largest and best known of the world's 130 temples of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Built during the second half of the 19th century, it took 40 years to complete construction and become the centerpiece of Temple Square.
As incredible as it looks on the outside, it must be pretty amazing on the inside.
There's only one way to find out. Lexi, when does the tour start?
Well, interestingly enough, that's something we don't get to see. The temple is considered sacred by the LDS Church and not open to public tours. Actually, even church members have to obtain a temple recommend to be allowed inside.
Sounds like a lot of work. Not into it.
Vincent, I am so not surprised.
What? I'm just saying, instead of diving deeper into the square, we use our time wisely and expand our Salt Lake City horizons out a little bit. Come on.
Yeah, that actually sounds like a fun idea.
I hate when he makes me look bad.
For an SLC adventure outside the square, our first stop is a few miles away and more than 500 million years ago, at the Natural History Museum of Utah.
The museum's home at the Rio Tinto Center is a unique and awe-inspiring new building wrapped in 42,000 square feet of copper.
The copper, mined locally across the Salt Lake Valley, is installed in horizontal bands of various heights to represent the layered rock formations seen throughout Utah.
The Natural History Museum of Utah is meant to be a gathering place for anyone interested in the natural world and humans' place within it. Once you enter the first floor foyer and climb the main staircase, you enter the main lobby area, also called the Canyon.
This is the Canyon, the museum's central public and gathering space.
3 stories tall and displaying over 500 objects from the museum in its collection wall, just giving you a taste of what's in the extensive exhibits.
And with 10 exhibits to choose from, the hardest part about starting here is deciding which one to check out first.
But Vincent, you're our director. Isn't it your job to decide where we go first?
And choose carefully because today we don't have time to do it all.
Come on. This is easy. Just go with what sells. And nothing sells better than giant, reptilian, flesh-eating creatures with vicious claws and reptilian teeth. We're going to the Past Worlds exhibit.
You know, he's actually not that bad at this whole directing thing.
No, it's kind of freaking me out a little.
Past Worlds, just one of 10 exhibitions at the museum, is a glance through 500 million years of Utah's ancient environment and their changing life forms.
In this gallery, there are over 30 skeletal reconstructions on display, including a duck-billed Griposaurus made of original fossil material, and the world's only display of 14 horned ceratopsian dinosaur skulls.
Utah's late Cretaceous and Eocene epochs are revealed in displays that show the diversity, sights, sounds, and smells of the time.
Pretty cool, Vincent. You're right. That was a good idea.
Thanks.
Yeah, little bro, nice job. And next, we are off to the next view.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. We can't leave yet. This place is great.
But it's just a half-hour show. We've got so much more we have to do in Salt Lake City.
Lexi, you can see it. Come on, it won't take long.
But there are 9 other exhibits on 5 different floors. It would take all day to see it all.
Yeah.
Guys, calm down. I'll fix it in post. Come on. See? Not so hard. Now where to?
Your call, Mr. Director.
I'm thinking somewhere a little more recent.
Maybe a little more Western?
Now you got my attention. I say we make a company move.
Sounds good to me, but I've got one quick trip I want to make first. Can't let Vincent steal all my thunder. For something really different, I can't miss stop on any Salt Lake City trip is the Tracy Aviary in Lincoln Park. It's the oldest aviary in the United States, and if you like the Natural History Museum's dinosaurs, you're gonna love these natural descendants of those ancient reptiles.
I know what you're thinking. Are birds really descended from dinosaurs? Technically, yes. They evolved from avian, or feathered dinosaurs, probably one very similar to the famous raptors from the movie Jurassic Park.
The Tracy Aviary had a massive renovation starting in 2005 that has completely transformed its landscapes and exhibits.
Just like the Natural History Museum, there are a lot of exhibits to spend time at. Some of my favorites are the Owl Forest, Amazon Adventure, and the new exhibit for bald and golden eagles. There are also great activities scheduled throughout the day to get you even closer to experience these amazing creatures.
Are you ready? they walk around like this normally in the wild, or they mostly just fly?
For my episode of Passport to Explore, I had to ask myself, what directorial debut would be complete without an awesome battle scene?
And in Salt Lake City, this is about as close as you're gonna get.
Welcome to Camp Floyd Stagecoach and State Park, where you can learn about the little-known Utah War.
President James Buchanan, after hearing reports of Mormon treason, battery, theft, and fraud against the United States government, got caught up in the popular belief that the settlers of Utah were going to rebel against the United States. In 1857, he sent an expedition of 2,500 soldiers to the region to quell the supposed rebellion.
The Mormons, getting reports about the coming military force sent by Buchanan, were afraid that the military was coming to attack them, so they made their own preparations for defense.
And after a year of tactical standoff, brief skirmishes, and finally negotiations, the two sides found a peaceful agreement and the U.S. Army settled in Camp Floyd.
The Army was allowed into Utah peacefully, and they settled at Camp Floyd, about 50 miles southwest of Salt Lake City.
Okay, everyone, let's get this battle scene going. I need explosions and pyrotechnics over there. Come on, guys, get ready. People, time is money.
Vincent, there is no battle scene to shoot.
What about the Battle of Stagecoach Inn?
There was no Battle of Stagecoach Inn. You just made that up.
Okay, so I took a few artistic liberties. Sue me. I'll be in my trailer.
Really? Trailer? Seriously?
After the Utah War, Camp Floyd was built by the U.S. Army with help from local citizens, and at its height became the largest military installation in the United States.
But when the drums of Civil War started beating in 1861, most of Camp Floyd's troops were ordered back east, and nearly all the original buildings were dismantled or destroyed.
Today, all that's left of the fort's original buildings is the cemetery and the commissary building, which now serves as the park's visitor center.
But the one non-military building that did survive the era is right across the street from the commissary building, and just behind us.
It's the Stagecoach Inn, and during its time and place, it was a very fine two-story Adobe-style hotel built in 1858. It was one of the few respectable establishments in this frontier military town, and is now a restored museum to its Wild West era.
While Camp Floyd is an incredible place to see Utah's Old West history, nothing beats being able to experience it.
And to get that experience, this is the place.
What is this place?
This is the place.
Well, I know this is a place, but what's this place called?
This is the place.
No, like what's the name?
No, Vincent, the name of this place is This is the Place Heritage Park.
Oh. So this is the place.
This is the place.
I get it. Very funny. You guys can work on your timing a little bit.
Did he just give us acting advice?
I think it's just a phase he's going through.
Yeah, I hope so.
The mission of This is the Place Heritage Park is to kind of threefold: to preserve, protect, and present the early history of Utah and its early peoples, including the Native American peoples that were in this area, up through, of course, the Mormon pioneer story, and then present day. It's a fun way for us to teach the history. We really believe in doing it in a hands-on experience, so it's not just all lecture. Our guests are invited to participate in the process of learning. We kind of use it as edutainment, I guess is a good phrase. It gives us the opportunity to put the tools of our past in the present's hands.
This is the Place Heritage Park is a living history attraction where you can explore the rugged frontier history of Utah. Historical interpreters tell stories of the settlement of the West in original and replica historic homes. And you can also see artisans and interpreters demonstrate 19th century frontier life in a working environment.
Some of the frontier work happening here is blacksmithing, furniture making, and a variety of domestic skills being demonstrated in village homes. You can watch wool being carded and spun into yarn, candles being dipped layer by layer over small open fire in the backyard, and quilting demonstrations that are sure to leave you warm at heart.
Hi, welcome. How are you today?
Hi.
Hey.
Oh my goodness.
Just getting some spinning done. If you'd like to come up a little bit closer, I can show you about what I do here. Let me get some of this out of the way. This is actually wool from my sheep out back. And you can see right here, this is my spinning wheel. And this is wool that's been washed. And it has been carded. And I'm going to show you how I card in just a minute. But what I do with this is I get the tangles out of it, and then this thread goes around, goes on the hook, and comes right here on the bobbin. This is what winds up the yarn as I spin it. And the other one goes to this part. This is called the flyer. And as that spins around, and if you watch up here between my fingers, you can see how that's twisting the wool into a thread.
now that we've seen Utah's ancient history and its frontier past, what about today? What about the future?
Well, maybe someplace where today's big ideas,
Questions,
inventions,
and discoveries are connected in a whole new way.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
And I think we found the perfect spot.
the Leonardo, Salt Lake City's premier science, technology, and art museum.
But you have to give us credit for finding this one, Mr. Director.
Please, first rule of directing, surround yourself with smart people with great ideas. But I take all the credit.
Oh yeah, he's a director, all right.
Without a doubt.
The mission of the Leonardo Museum, named after the artist and scientist Leonardo da Vinci, is to fuse science, technology, and art in experiences that inspire creativity and innovation in young people and adults.
You'll see these ribbons of color coming across the wall.
Inside, you'll find exhibits with mind-bending names like Dynamic Performance of Nature, as well as thought-provoking ones like ID, What Makes You, You.
But don't let the names confuse you. Once you see and interact with these exhibits, everything becomes way more clear and way more fascinating.
Section has its own microprocessor, and then it's connected to a larger motherboard. And so they act independently, and they also act as a community. And so the Leonardo is a really interesting project. It's evolved over many years. It started out as 3 separate organizations representing science, technology, and art. And eventually, they all came together as one organization. We actually just opened our doors permanently in October, and it's been really exciting ever since then. So we're really trying to tap into new technologies and new ways of bringing things together that are happening out there in the world already. Just a little bit, so you can get the motion kind of like this.
Oh yeah.
Bringing that into a museum setting and letting people explore beyond boundaries that they normally set for themselves.
And when you've got all the inspiration you can handle, Lab at Leo is the place to dive into creating.
So don't be afraid to tinker, design, or tap into your own genius.
I don't mind if I do.
All right. Look how pretty! Wow, no, that looks really cool.
It's perfect!
It's like wings. It's like lens. A fun bit of trivia is that the Leonardo is housed in Salt Lake City's old public library, but the new library is on the same block, and a quick trip through it shows that it definitely took the Leonardo's fusion of art and technology to heart.
This library is way more than just a building for bookshelves. It has a 6-story curving walkable wall, reading galleries above a plaza of shops and services, and even a 300-seat auditorium. But that's just the tip of the iceberg at this library.
There's even a rooftop garden, spiraling fireplaces on 4 floors, and a lens on the south side of the building which helps to warm the building during the winter, saving on heating costs and providing plenty of natural light.
But the best part, and my favorite source of Hollywood inspiration, is this possibly the largest graphic novel collection in a public library.
Oh hey, Vincent found the comic books.
Cool.
They're not comic books, they're graphic novels.
Same thing, right?
It's a good thing reading calms me down.
Hey, do you think they have Aquaman?
I don't know.
He's my favorite. I wish I could talk to dolphins.
If you're in Salt Lake City and want to get away from it all, the good news is that you don't have to go very far. Just 32 miles away is Park City, Utah, described by Forbes magazine as one of the prettiest cities in the United States.
Park City's early roots are as a booming mine industry, and in the early 20th century, it was one of the most famous silver mines in the world.
However, when silver prices dropped in the 1950s, it nearly became a ghost town.
But Park City wasn't going to go away quietly. It had one more clever trick up its sleeve.
As long ago as the 1920s, miners in Park City were using underground trains and shafts to gain access to the surrounding mountain for skiing. Aerial trams, once used for hauling ore, were converted into chairlifts.
In the 1980s and 90s, Park City began capitalizing on its winter sport features, and now tourism has brought another huge economic boom to this little town.
And then there's this. Park City is home to the largest film festival in the United States, Sundance.
If you've made one of the great independent films, this is where you want it to be seen.
Duly noted. This is a great spot for my premiere.
But make no mistake, it is no easy task getting into the Sundance Film Festival. Last year, almost 4,000 films were submitted.
And only 118 were selected to play in the festival. That's just one acceptance for every 34 rejections.
So Vincent, you're gonna have to work hard if you wanna make a film good enough for Sundance.
Easy. If 1 out of every 34 movies are accepted, I'll just make 34 movies and submit them all.
It sounds like a lot of hard work.
You're right. You should probably get started now. Hey, let's get your makeup out here.
Vincent, you look fine.
It's not for me. Utah is famous for its snow-capped hillsides in the winter. And here at Snowboard Ski Resort, it's all year round.
So if you're looking for a little adventure,
Some of the best skiing and snowboarding is right around the corner, and just a short trip up the lift.
so come on, we're gonna go give it a try.
Yeah, let's show that Utah is more than a pretty face.
Was that a joke? Did you get it?
I don't get it.
Guys, pretty face, like the face of a mountain. You know, every time I have to explain the joke, it takes away all the funny.
Don't worry, we won't tell Sundance about this one.
Tough crowd.
That's all the time we have for the show this week, but I think we're gonna stay up here a little bit longer. We're having a lot of fun.
And I think we could use a practice.
See you next time.
Bye.